Mate, are we
Mate,
are we on?
we're on.
Good,
Are you
I'll
on?
take it. Yeah. Despite the internet glitches, I could cut it at any moment, but we'll give this a red hot crack, mate. Mate, what's been happening? Because obviously I'm experimenting a new facial hair. I have what I can only describe as an unhealthy obsession with custom Nike Air Force Ones. It's crazy. I'll soon be bankrupt. It's I need every pair, every color. I'm losing my shit. But yeah, how you been, mate?
Good. Not as good as your facial hair though. I can't grow this.
Yeah.
It is it's sad.
I think
Trump
this is
voice.
fake.
Sad.
I think this is sad and fake. But you look like you smell good, so I'm gonna go with that. No, you don't.
No.
Oh, well, you look it. So that's what's most important. But yeah, mate, there was fair bit to digest from last week with scandals left, right, and center. A bit of controversy from all angles. Well, if we just touch on that for a bit, any developments sort of in the CrossFit world?
Yeah, CrossFit World. Dave Castro was announced as CEO.
Yep.
So there's been some internal changes because of the ill-fated tweet of the previous CEO,
Yep.
Greg. So Dave stepped in, has made a massive, a real concerted effort to touch base with a whole bunch of affiliate owners and different stakeholders within CrossFit. So it's looking pretty positive, saying all the right things. Obviously, actions take time. There's still a lot of hate on social media because there's still outrage about a whole bunch of things all over the world for a whole range of different topics. So, humans being humans, we tend to not give outrage the context it deserves. We tend to be equally outraged about everything. Like me, for instance, my favorite coffee was not adequate today, so I was fucking outraged.
Yeah.
Instead of
and so you should be. That's
bad coffee.
That's good. And what do you want now? Your second energy drink, which is impressive. That's
This is my second non-branded caffeinated beverage, which I don't recommend.
Yeah.
But when you're a sack of shit like me, you got to do whatever you can to get through the day. 2 a.m. phone calls.
That's it. And whatever it
is not great.
Yeah. No, that'll get to anyone, and you just smash out those energy drinks. You do what it takes, mate. Do what it takes.
What about you, mate? What about you? Did you get any weightlifting feedback from the report that we spoke about, the McLaren Report we spoke about last week?
Look, nothing domestic. It doesn't seem to have hit too hard in the weightlifting world in Australia as yet. Same sort of things are happening as CrossFit. New appointments have been made, and they're trying to steer the ship in the right direction. Again, as you're saying, actions take time. But I don't think we've felt anything major or anything at all at Australian level. Certainly not at state level here in Victoria, anyway. But time will tell what's going to happen there. Just before we were on air, I think you were saying something. You got sent an article that's suggesting that we after this Olympic Games we might be out of it. But I have really no idea.
Yeah,
it's interesting times, but
I just had a thought.
I had nothing else.
No, I'm sorry, mate. I just had a thought when you said that, about bringing up that article. Is that imagine, road cycling is dirty. You can't win Tour de France clean. That's obvious.
Yeah,
it's pretty much like weightlifting. You can't win a gold medal clean. So, but cycling has an industry of amateur cyclists that spend $20,000 to $30,000 on cycling gear under them to keep the sport relevant. Do you think that's where weightlifting's missing out? Is that we don't have this groundswell of everyone buying an Eleiko bar, so people can't vote with their industry dollars?
I think so. I think we've been so invested just as a sport, and our identity, clearly just in the name, Olympic weightlifting, ties us directly to the games, and say that's yanked away from us. What's our identity afterwards? And I don't think there's there's a Olympic weightlifting culture, if you will. There's gym culture and all that sort of stuff. It'd be very interesting to see what happens after that. I mean, definitely an opportunity for small businesses and small clubs to take the reins there. But, sort of touching on what I said last week, I don't see too much changing. I can't actually see us being kicked out of the Olympics, and I'm not sure it would be the answer anyway. But I definitely don't think we have that base underneath of us that we can build from. So again, I think as we touched on last week, we should be working sort of at the grassroots and establishing yourself, get your house in order, and there may be opportunities for smaller clubs moving forward.
Yeah, well, I guess the other thing too about keeping weightlifting in the Olympics is that it's a chance for the Eastern Bloc countries to win a medal. So it's not just America and the known countries, just taking everything up. Because, you take away weightlifting, is Belarus going to get close to anything? Is Bulgaria going to get close to anything? Like, I can't see them doing any other sport. So those political countries and lobbies, they'll be lobbying hard to keep it in. Even though they're all dirty, they're still going to want to keep it in there. Because I've noticed in that documentary, Lord of the Lifts, from the McLaren that sparked the McLaren Report, is that they're openly cheating because they don't care, because they know that it takes 1 to 2 years for the result to come through, but everyone's forgotten about it because they don't have the media spotlight on them 24/7. So it's like, well, who cares? That's like Ilian. It's like, still got all my medals. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I still on the podium. I've still got the picture on the wall. I've still made all the money.
Yeah, it's it is interesting, and it comes down to this this sort of debate that I think we've had before, and there's this conversation. It's like, why do they take drugs? And it's like, it's sort of a cultural thing, isn't it? It's like, without them, without that success that they bring, they're nothing. It's like we go, oh no, I didn't make it at the top level here. I guess I'll just go be an engineer. It's different life. They don't have choice. We have too much choice, too much freedom in some instances. So it's I think it'll be very interesting. We'll probably see some of it as it gets closer to the new proposed dates for the Olympics, and when events start happening, we'll probably see a little bit more of the impact of this. But at this stage, nothing's shaking the earth down here. It's not even a part of like local club conversations about the McLaren Report. Like, it's just wouldn't even know. Haven't got a club at the moment, so that's I'm sure it will be a topic of conversation, seeing as we don't really have lives and don't have anything else to talk about, so we may as well talk about impending doom as the world likes to. So yeah. So
what about?
Sorry, you go.
No, I'm sorry, mate. I'm losing it. I'm still recovering from waking up like a long time ago.
That's okay, mate. I understand. I don't sleep at the best of times. When I do, it's terrible. So all I was gonna say is obviously more on the CrossFit side of things. But are you feeling any impact from the McLaren Report, or has it all just been focusing on just the business at hand?
Yeah, I've had no comments. All the people that have mentioned the McLaren Report to me are just like, we just assume weightlifting was dirty. So it's like, but now it's like it's different when it comes, like when the head of the fish is rotten, not just the scale infection or a broken fin. It's like literally the guy running the show is a gangster. That's the problem. Yeah, it's a lot different in other sports, where you've got a few bad eggs. Like this guy's ruining the whole carton. But but it's just it's unfortunate, but it's always had same as CrossFit. CrossFit's got a reputation of everyone's dirty. It's like I know for a fact not everyone is dirty. I know that. I know at an amateur level there is quite a lot of drugs. I know that. We've seen screenshots and screen captures of mates telling mates what to inject and how to do it and what to get and all that sort of stuff. And because those people think that the people that beat them, it's because of a substance, but it's not. It's because they've got more talent. And those people taking drugs are pieces of shit with no talent. And they're trying to fill a hole, but it never will. Like a jacked piece of shit and an unjacked piece of shit is still a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
There's nothing I like better than a good shit metaphor. Just the irony in it. It's you can't polish a turd, and even if you can, it's just a shiny piece of shit. So I love that, love all that stuff. But it's look, at some point I'd like to have the great weight debate on here, and I think the drugs in sport one would be great, and it's the small level talent versus hard work, and I think we both have stated our position on where we need to be there. But it's very interesting to hear what other coaches, even athletes, have to say about this sort of stuff, and what their sort of goals are when they think they're top shit, and then they see raw talent walk in the gym or wherever it may be, and then they get put in their place. So it's very interesting sort of conversation to have.
It's amazing. I remember this particular rugby player's name is Joe Roth, and he's retired now. But the guy is he was a freak. He was like 6'1", run the 111. Like he was awesome. He was basically me, but with the extra 2 feet. And small, like little plug. But so this guy was amazing, right? Never trained, hated training, and didn't have to train because he was just genetically jacked. And he was perfect for the sport. And it wouldn't matter how much I trained, that guy was going to always kick my ass. Like it's not even a fucking debate. So, people, but I really want it. I'm really passionate. I believe that if I really want it bad enough, I'll get there. No, you won't. Yeah. You won't. Like, because the old saying, hard work beats talent. Yeah. Everybody stops there, but the full saying is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That's the actual saying. So, and then when you watch people on TV, that's usually professional level. They're talented people that work hard. It's not a fluke. It's not. They're not lazy. It's like, I reckon if I train hard, I can beat Ilian. It's like, well, actually, the guy's pretty talented. I mean, he's juice, but he's pretty fucking talented anyway. And you're not talented, and you want to juice. So straight away, you're not going to beat him.
Yeah, let's maybe get within 40 kilos before we start saying we're going to chase him down or something, like that. It's day one's probably not the right approach there. But some exciting news, I guess we could say, for the nations is Victoria will open up clubs and gyms on Monday, first day of business. Yeah, so that's everyone. All states now opened, and it's I guess it leads us sort of to the next question: is just because we can doesn't mean we should, or should we not? I would dare say there's going to be a few places that are ready and willing to open up day one, get back to it. Obviously, a lot of restrictions still in place, and guidelines about how they have to go. Same time, I would think that there are a few facilities that will have to hold off a little bit longer, opening back up again, whether it's restrictions from the state or just the building they're in. I know our club's going to have a few difficulties moving forward. Might have to delay opening just a tad. But we were talking about this just before. Is this an opportunity for athletes to move clubs if they've been thinking about it? Is it the right move? And how much does loyalty and all that sort of stuff play a role in it?
Great one. Oh, you finished with the big one. Excuse me. You finished with the loyalty card. Now, this is my pet hate, where you hear from shit gyms, shit coaches, and they play on people's emotions so they don't leave. Yeah. I don't want to leave so-and-so because, we always hang out. We always go out for beers and all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, that's fine, but you're paying for a service. Are you getting that service? Have you improved? Have you met your goals? Like all this sort of stuff. So I don't think loyalty should come into it. I think loyalty, like if it's a two-way street, like respect. If that coach or that gym's been loyal to you because they've supported you, because they've gone above and beyond, then you should give them a little bit of loyalty for sure. But if your goals are higher than what your current place can support, then you got to move on, because same deal. It doesn't matter. Like if you're in a shit gym, but you've got a goal of representing Australia at weightlifting, and that gym's never had a track record of producing lifters, then you got to go. Like it's that, like you can't. Like we've spoken about this before too. Like as an athlete, you cannot waste your time under somebody who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
because you're not going to lift weights forever. Not at a competitive level. You're not going to CrossFit forever. Like very rarely do you get past 2 seasons. So you have to make hay while the sun shines. But but yeah, and then from the CrossFit side of the fence, we've been inundated here at CrossFit Newcastle, shameless plug, for people wanting to change gyms. They're seeing it as an opportunity. They've heard about us. Obviously, we're Australia's oldest full-time gym, but they've heard good things about us through word of mouth, and they want to make a change. Then listeners might be like, oh, why aren't they a gym in the first place? It's like, well, because we're the most expensive for a reason. We use it as a bit of a filter system. So people tend to make us the last port of call when they're because the other thing too with CrossFit is, I don't know, does weightlifting get this? But CrossFit says, well, the perception out there in the world, in the consumer world, is CrossFit's on the door, therefore all CrossFits are the same. Does weightlifting get that with weightlifting clubs?
I think there is that perception at the start, but it's almost 2 days in, you realize it's not the case. It never sort of has been. But I think everyone knows sort of what they're getting out of the certain clubs they go to, and I think that's part of the promotion for each club, is that they all have a sort of a unique style, but they're all working towards the same goal. And it's it is sort of interesting from a weightlifting point of view, because it's not so much a franchise or anything, but I like hearing the why before the what, when people are coming over from another club. And it's it was a question I was going to pose to you just now, is when you're sort of, well, I don't know, interviewing, I guess, for the lack of a better term, people wanting to join, are you interested in why they're coming across? Because I'm sure the majority of the reasons they're going to be that they're not getting what they want out of their current arrangement. But are you assessing it's because of them, or it's actually because of the space they're in? What's your approach there?
Yeah, it definitely comes down to conversations, and lots of them. So we have like a trial period. I'm a little different because I've done martial arts for almost 30 years. No, 92. So what's that? Add it up. So I've done martial arts.
28 years.
Okay, so 20. So I've done Japanese martial arts for all that time, and the way that the particular martial art that I do is that it's very one-on-one, and it's very personality based. And because the tradition of it is that they don't teach just anybody. It's not karate, it's not judo, it's not sport martial arts. So it's very particular because it's very dangerous. So you can't be training with somebody that you don't trust, and then all of a sudden, an eyeball pops out or dislocate an arm or anything like that. So I've been influenced on how that was coached to me. So it's like I'm very dubious of people, not in a suspicious way, but I'm always like, I'm just trying to figure out if their wants if their desires match their processes. So it's like, I want to be a weightlifter, or I want to be a rugby player, or I want to be a CrossFitter. And it's like, so I need to know lifestyle answers, because what they do under my supervision is literally 1 hour of a 23-hour period. So if the other 23 hours are shit, I can't, again, polish a turd. So it's like, oof.
Yeah.
So you get lots of conversations, and then they've got to try me out too. So they might, we have a trial period, and it might be like, oh, this guy's full of shit, which has never happened. Yeah. But it might be like, oh, I don't like the way that you train. We don't like, for a games athlete, for instance, I want them to train alone. I don't want them training with people, because you sink to the level of your environment. Everybody else as a games, you typically in a CrossFit environment, you've got somebody who wants to be a games athlete, and you've got other people that they want to train with them. Usually those other people suck. So if you've got a games athlete always training with people that are shit, they're not going to improve. They're actually going to sink, and they don't realize it because they're always beating average people. So I like games athletes to to train alone and use a stopwatch and film everything and blah blah. We dissect it and all that sort of stuff. With weightlifting as well. Weightlifting is a little different. I like weightlifters to be around each other if they've got a common goal of making Com Games, making Olympics, making nationals. It's got to be a common goal. If the goals don't match, I don't want you training together. I don't even want you in the same gym at the same time. I don't even want you in the building.
Yeah.
So like for me in a weightlifting gym, like visited Hawthorn a few times. Every time I've been there, it's been like-minded, similar goal type lifters at the same time. And you can sort of feel the energy, how they're approaching it. I've been to other gyms where it's like you got a serious platform and then you've got a casual platform or a hobbyist platform and a competitor's platform, and it just sucks. Like it's a shitty vibe. It's like, am I allowed to talk? Why is there music playing? This place is a fucking funeral. Like, all those sort of things. It's like, oh, this guy's laughing. This guy's about to lift. So anyway, long way to answer that. They've got to see if they fit into me. They can be a completely good athlete with lots of potential, but it just doesn't fit my style maybe. And that's totally fine. Yeah. They might be like they need lots of laughter and jokes and they don't like it when I abuse them. That's totally fine. That's not a problem. They don't like it when I hit them.
Yeah.
But what about you, mate? What What about you? How do you handle it when you get a weightlifter hit you up and say, "Simon, Supercoach Phenom, take me to the king of the universe. Go."
Yeah. Well, I'm always about the why. I want to know where they're coming from, where they're at, why they're changing, all these sort of questions. Basically just to profile them and say, is this what you actually want to be doing? Are you going to fit this? Well, firstly, the environment, and are we going to work well as a team, coach athlete sort of relationship there? And it's I'm not saying I'm concerned about this, just because there is an opportunity for athletes now to take that option because of what's happening right now with clubs opening up, some staying closed. I would like to think that people will be sticking at it for the right reasons and wanting to come across for the right reasons. A little bit dubious about it, but for the most part, if they've got the right intent, I think we're going to work well together. Yeah.
Now, what about in terms of social distancing when you do open up? If you check the screen for me.
The what?
Boom. Check your screen for me. Check this out. This is a... See if we can make it bigger.
What?
This
the
is
fuck
a
is that?
I know. Hopefully the viewers can make that, but it's a gym in Redondo Beach. I think it's a CrossFit gym. South Bay Fit. Oh, holy shit. So I've been to this gym. They're nice people.
Oh, good.
Super nice people. yeah. And their gym is big. So what they've done is they've set up teepees, plastic teepees. So there is zero chance of somebody getting spat on, which I find is unfortunate. You're missing out.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. So is that what Hawthorn's going to look like when you reopen, mate?
I don't think so. Not that I don't want that. I'd love to have some athletes in some see-through cubicles, just to really add to the horror film sort of feel that's currently going on there.
It's very extra, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit claustrophobic just looking at that. Geez, that's dedication, isn't it?
It's nuts, dude. I think that's just overkill beyond. That's another example of sort of like a little bit of outrage culture on COVID. It's like
that's insane.
I'm unaware of a death of anybody under the age of 65 and healthy at this point. So I understand you could carry it and give it to somebody older. I totally get that. But that seems like a little bit overkill.
Yeah. I think we're just going with put some tape on the ground and then wash yourself in metho and have a cheeky swig if you're if no one's looking. But
so it's just your Saturday night.
Standard Saturday night or any day ending in Y. So yeah, I think that might be a touch on the overkill side, but to each their own. It's I don't think we'll be adopting that, just going with the standard protocol, I think, on our end. And like I said, it's our current arrangement where we operate out of, it's sort of out of our hands when we can and can't operate. So we're waiting. We've got some news, but to go back straight away is probably not going to work for us. And on that note, I'd probably say, and I wouldn't be upset if athletes were looking for another option, looking for another place to train. I don't think loyalty plays a big role in here. Again, athletes have to do what's best for them. I'd be surprised if too many did actually leave the club. They might look for a change in the service, be it coaching or taking a bit of time off from that sort of stuff, because as we touched on in our first episode, remote coaching is not really my forte, and that's not what people are paying for. So again, wouldn't be surprised if they changed sort of service. But I don't see too many people leaving the club. Again, the delays won't be too much longer, and hopefully we can get back to a fully functioning club sooner rather than later.
Do you as Hawthorn now, like, do you guys have many people training at home in their own garage gym setups?
Sorry, Matt, I think I'm losing you a little bit. Internet's crazy today.
Yeah, that's right. I just asked if you at Hawthorn, do you guys have many people with their own equipment at home in their garage gyms following along with their squad training?
Yeah, look, there's during when this all started, a few people went out, got themselves a fair bit of equipment. We got a bit of equipment. I think people have been making do. So I don't see it be a big issue. I think people can get together, have a few more sessions, and battle it out for a little bit longer. Obviously, we're hoping there's no second wave, or at least if there isn't major shutdowns and everything. But I think, I was speaking to someone just the other day, I think it's been sort of good for a lot of the athletes to recognize where they're killing themselves and what they actually need out of the services that we can provide. And the self-assessments become significantly better amongst the core group of athletes. So, I don't see a delay taking too much more off our athletes, and like I said, we'll be at it before we know it. Yeah.
So you touched on that you wouldn't be surprised if athletes left to go for a different service or whatever. In a can you boil down a nutshell of what a weightlifting club offers in terms of service? So tell me this. Tell me what typically is offered, and tell me what you think should be offered in a perfect scenario.
What I think is typically offered is a space to train, a coach that looks after you in terms of technical advice and your programming, and come competition time is in there with you in the warm-up room. I think that's your stereotypical weightlifting club coach sort of service. Ideally, again, we've spoken about this sort of stuff before. We would thanks, Sean. Spitting costs extra. He's not wrong. That's the additional service.
Valuable input once again from Sean.
Yeah, from Sean. He's the gift that keeps on giving. Ideally, you'd be able to offer a service that tends to the needs of everyone at different levels. So having a sort of a development coach, a sort of a senior coach, and a competition coach, all working out of the same facility, standard programming that adjusts for the levels of athletes. And ideally, if we could control all sort of things, we'd have people responsible for diet and recovery and all sorts of things. But I'm not too sure that too many clubs in Victoria, if Australia, are offering that sort of service. And if they are, I would wager that the majority of them are unqualified to do so. So it's it's an interesting one there, because I know there are a lot of people that tout all of those services and produce very subpar results with that, and a few disgruntled sort of athletes have come out of there. But for me, it's
and ones with fucking eating disorders.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't have an eating disorder these days? I do. It's terrible.
I am a fucking chocoholic. That's a fact.
Chocoholic.
Yeah.
I think you mispronounced that. That's fine.
I'll put a H in. Put a H in for the.
Yeah. That's right, mate.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
What about all those things you described, right? And I'm probably fucking going to burn a bridge here, but all those things you described are touted as AIS services, and I've seen firsthand that they're fucking a joke. They're terrible. Yeah. So it's like what? Yeah. So if it's, I guess it comes back to expectation too. Like people build up in their head. Oh, I'm going to make the big time. I'm going to be a state-sponsored athlete or a national-sponsored athlete. I'm going to go to the AIS, the mecca of sport. And it's like, no, they're going to feed you full of fucking cereals and grains and fruits.
Yeah.
And you're a weightlifter trying to put on weight or lose weight, and they're just going to feed you the same rubbish shit and just train you fucking rubbish. The S&C coaches there are not all, but the ones that I've seen are woeful. So it's just jobs for the boys. It's fucking insane.
But that's what's
insane.
That's what it's all about. Jobs for the boys.
Jobs for the fucking boys, mate. We need to win lotto so we can start throwing out some jobs and some dough ray.
Jobs for the boys, mate. Well, I don't know about you. I've got my ticket every week, so lift your game, mate. Lift your game.
Yeah, I know. Fuck.
Yeah.
You can't win if you're not in.
Yeah, that's
even though your chances of winning are it's just stupid. You've got no chance if you're not in it.
Mate, I don't like your attitude.
Look,
it's
I know. We should get what is it? Sportsbet 365 or whatever as a fucking sponsor.
Yeah. Sponsor. I was gonna get my my daily reference of The Last Dance in there when talking about Jordan's mindset. It's like he would never dwell on a shot that he hasn't taken yet. He's like, why would I think about something that hasn't happened? It's like, mate, we've won the lotto, we just don't know it yet.
Yeah. Well, I hope we know it very soon.
Yeah. That'd be some concrete happiness right there. But
how are you guys going to handle? Sorry, I've got to bring this on track before we purposely take it off track. How is Hawthorn going to handle new weightlifters? New members, not necessarily new lifters, but
at this stage, it's not even a focus. We are moving towards solely getting back on track, getting open, getting our current base of athletes moving again. And then depending on what restrictions we have over or what's lifted over the next month or so, we'll start implementing new stages of our own plan, which will include getting casual visits back in. So, if yourself and Pip are in town, jump on in. At this stage, that's probably not going to happen because we'll have limited time in the club. And then after that, it'll just be business as usual once we have the okay to do so. So it's most of the emails that'll be sent back out to the inquiries are just going to be, you're on a waiting list, and once we have more news, we'll get you in as soon as possible.
Yep. What about this? I just had a thought. Could a weightlifting gym run like a BJJ martial arts club? Like that, meaning you've got different levels of performance.
In terms of
you've got different levels of performance. Go to different time slots, and have different coaching.
Yeah.
Then typically in a BJJ club, the blue belts get given the kids class to run, and everyone fucking hates it because they don't want to coach kids. But do you think that there could be that sort of hierarchical change in weightlifting to help? I was just thinking back about, because people no doubt are going to get new members come in and they're going to need to know, how am I going to handle them? I think they should probably throw out some different ideas on how to do it without trying to work too much. Because if you do too many hours, you're lowering your value per hour, which is a slow way to bankruptcy.
Yeah. Look, I think it's a system that could definitely work well, but again, it's just dependent on the sort of demographic that we're dealing with. I don't think I've ever seen such a diverse amount of people that do this sport, and their schedules are just rat shit. Like, I can struggle to find 2 members at our club that are available at the same time, like every week. So I don't know how people would make classes, make sessions and everything. I'm sure if it was the status quo, people would make the time and move around. But I think part of the success that we've had as a club in terms of growth has come from the fact that we have these large training times and availability of coaching and all that sort of stuff as a service. I think that's helped us a bit, but things like this have really thrown a spanner in the works and forced us to think about structure moving forward. And it's very much plays to what you're saying there about the slow drip towards bankruptcy. I think it's just it'll be the decline in quality of service as well that'll go with it.
Yep. How many of the Hawthorn members were affected by the COVID lockouts from workplaces? So how many people are working from home?
I think the vast majority have been working from home or have been laid off completely. It's again, a few of them, is sort of enjoying it. They're almost paid vacation. They're living the full-time athlete sort of lifestyle. But I'd say the majority have been affected.
Do you guys, as a club, have you looked at it as an opportunity to maybe change some things around? Have you surveyed members to see if there's certain times that would suit them better? Because now they've got no excuse; they can make it whenever they want to, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen there's an opportunity to shuffle things?
Well, we're going to have to, because that's going to be part of our opening up plan, is revising time slots for members. So there'll be a sort of a preference system going out, which will also serve as a bit of a survey and collect a bit of data there. But I think it's definitely an opportunity. I've as a coach assessed what my involvement's going to be moving forward, and depending on how things go and the arrangements with the stadium, with the club, where we'll sort of move and try and evolve. But this is definitely an opportunity for us to evolve our structure, or redefine our structure and the way we go about things. But the core service that we provide will remain the same. We're working towards the goal of producing athletes and giving a place and producing an environment where people can get the best results.
Yep. Now, what about what's the first competition that's coming up once weightlifting comes back?
Mate, I don't know because I'm looking at the information that was sent out by the AWF, and I'm reading into it too much, but it was that they'll have the 12-week lead into the competition when all states are available to train. But I think it's worded in a way that it's train without restrictions. So obviously Victoria will be opening up gyms. Doesn't necessarily mean all gyms will be able to function. I assume the same is for New South Wales and every other state. So it's I think it's a bit of a waiting game there, and I think we're just looking for a bit of direction from up the top. I think there's a bit of movement at state level to address whether competitions that are scheduled for later in the year are going to continue as planned, or they'll be rescheduled to even later in the year or next year. So I'm sitting on my hands here basically.
With that.
Yeah.
Because I imagine weightlifting would be very difficult with restrictions in terms of the warm-up room.
Yes.
Like, imagine all those bodies in there. Like, you can't have social distancing with that.
Well, that's right. You've seen what it's like here in Victoria at the stadium that we operate. There's 6 warm-up platforms in a small room there. If it's 1 athlete per platform, obviously it's 6 athletes. Then you got your coaches, and there's just no way to social distance in a space like that. So whether it's the same regulations that are moving forward with NRL, AFL, and all that sort of stuff, where it's permitted to reach the standard social distancing thing in the name of sport, and then the protocols afterwards after competition, or we just hold off until the restrictions are eased or completely done with them.
It doesn't say much for the restrictions at all, does it? Like, I know there's commercial interests that play with the AFL and rugby league going back, and rugby in 2 weeks. But weightlifting's a non-contact sport. Like, fuck me. Having restrictions placed on it's stupid. And then it'd be like, oh, competition floor, it's 1 bar. It's like, you'll wipe it down. You can wipe off excess chalk. Why can't you just wipe the bar between every lift? There's ample time. So if that was the concern, it's just silly. Like, it just shows that the people that are making these decisions for us, they're elected puppets. They're not experts, and it's very, very frustrating.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing with how coaches and other people in sort of positions where they have to organize competitions are thinking the same. I know I am. It's like trying to work out how we're going to possibly run a competition given the current restrictions, and then going, well, why were we shut down in the first place if this stuff is not serious, or there's lenience here, and it's a tough thing that I think we're just gonna have to negotiate over the next few months and moving forward, whether we reformat competitions to adhere to these restrictions, we hold off, or we make a bid to the powers that be that we need to be able to operate under these set of rules, and see what the answer is.
Well, I do know of a spiffy gentleman with a rather stunning goatee tossed me the idea around about an online competition. So maybe you might have to get off your bum and do that sooner rather than later. But
I can't. I'm pretty numb. So yeah.
But there's definitely ways to explore it. I know Phil Andrews has implemented some online stuff. I haven't seen it, so I don't know how well it's worked. I know in the past CrossFit's done it with the CrossFit Open and the CrossFit Liftoff, and it's super successful. And you can do it the right way. I know when with the Australian CrossFit Championship, every single video, every rep was watched. So I know it's possible to do that. So I know it's possible to watch a weightlifting bar set up and have people come in and out of shot and all that. And I think it's totally doable. It's even easier for weightlifting because you can have a stationary camera. There's no movement to excessive movement. We have the technology to broadcast it quite easily. Okay. I think we're gonna have to do it, mate.
Well, maybe
people
throw it out
from the outside looking in. Weightlifters are missing out on stress. Yeah. So competition stresses. They need to be able to perform under pressure. Everybody's a fucking rock star in their garage or in their home gym or home platform. Let's have some external eyes on and put you under pressure. And it's okay to fail because that's the only way you get better.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank God someone else says that. It gets me every fucking time. Every time. But
mate, I don't know of an AFL team that has not won a game and still goes on to win the premiership. Like, losing's okay. It's totally okay. It's how we learn.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely agree. No, that's fair. You can tell. Like, again, I know these things, guys. This is why I like you so much. You're a gem. But like I'm trying to say, let's maybe throw it out to the listeners, and get in contact with a few people. It's like, what's a format that you'd like to see, and if it works and it's functional, we'll fucking make it happen. We'll broadcast it through here. As you said, we've got the technology to do it. We'll set up what it is, and we'll try and attach something to it so you're not competing for nothing. And we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we can do it. And even though we've got 3 amazing unemployed listeners watching now. We do have on average, we're averaging 500 listens, so we're crushing.
That's good. Well, that's 500 people that have a chance to win something. That'd be
exactly
be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be in it to win it. We've been through this. That's it. Well, mate, I one little last thing I sort of want to close out with. Been chatting with a person who will remain anonymous for now. Hopefully, we can get him on at some point. But he put out a question to me today, and it just about lessons that are needed that you need to learn to consider yourself sort of a veteran in sport and in weightlifting. And I've got a few little things here. My golden rule, funnily enough, after your little rant about the AIS, is don't burn bridges. Is my my little rule in such a small sport like weightlifting. You never you never know the person you tell get fucked is going to be your head coach one day. So and it's not to say people hold grudges, but let's be honest, they do, and they will fuck you every chance they get.
but they will. Yeah.
The second rule is one size doesn't fit all. So that can be for anything, whether it's a certain coach isn't going to work for an athlete and a certain approach isn't going to work for an athlete. Anything you can apply it anyway, but there's not just one solution. There are many ways to do things, and that's one of my main ones, and that's hard to get across. Trust is a two-way street, as most things, most qualities that people have to say, like respect. Everything's a two-way street. If you don't give it, you can't get it. Accountability is key to growth. That's a big one. If you have zero accountability, you have zero interest in what you're doing, and you can think of that as a coach or an athlete. If you're not invested, you're not willing to put your hand up when things are going to shit, then you are shit. And my last one is timing is everything. So
yeah,
that's those are mine,
especially in weightlifting.
Yeah. So those are my little rules that I try to use to, funnily enough, keep myself accountable for things. How about you? Because although I've worked with a few athletes, the goal has always been Olympic weightlifting. You've obviously worked with a diverse pool of athletes in various sports and various goals. What are some lessons you'd love for those new people coming in or new clients that you're working with to have?
Well, you've got to, accountability is obviously up there. You've got to follow the coach's plan. Therefore, you have to respect it. But the biggest thing for the coaches as well is that the athlete's success is theirs. Their failures are yours. So if they follow your program and they fuck up, that's the coach's fault. And I've noticed in all sports, particularly weightlifting, when somebody fucks up, the coach wipes their hands of it. And it's like, no, mate, that's your fault. Bullshit. That's not the weightlifter's fault. That's your fault. You fucked up the count. You fucked up the warm up. You fucked up the timing. You fucked up the nominated weight. Like, you fucked up. It's not the weightlifter because they've done what you told them to do. Same as in rugby. It's like, they can't tackle on one shoulder. They work on it. And then you put them in a position where the opposition will target them with no protection. Well, it's not really their fault. You've picked them in the wrong spot. Yeah. So the coach has to take ownership of the fault of the athlete, because if they're doing everything you've asked them to do, you now owe it to them. Strategies for that too is in terms of discipline following the program, is that I would like to charge somebody double. So, I know you're going to pay me $100,000. I'm actually going to take $200,000, but that second pool of 100, every time you turn up to do a session or you do what I tell you, you get a portion of it back. And over time, you get all that money back. So it's like a deposit, performance deposit. I'd love to do that. But yeah, I think it's respect for what the goal is. And the athlete has to buy in. The athlete's got to realize is that the coach is donating their fucking life to you, even if it's an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. Like, you want that coach invested in you. So do them the fucking respect of being invested in that session also. So I guess it's down to respect, and don't work with somebody who's not gotten a result that you want. So it's like I'm not going to go work with a cricket coach to get, I don't know, to become a fucking world champion archer. I know fuck all about it.
Yeah.
But that's basically it in terms of the vet. And I don't mind burning bridges. Burn a bridge, back yourself. I listened to a study. Listen to an audiobook that was talking about a study where there's two groups of. It was a person. It was the test subject, surrounded by actors, and they looked at two lines. The first image and the two lines were different size. So you go, yep, two lines are different size. Then the second image popped up, and it was clearly the same two lengths of lines. But all the other people in this test subject were actors, and they said that the two lines were different. And then this person, every test subject was like, what? And second guessing themselves and doubting themselves and blah, blah. And eventually gave into group thinking and was like, the two lines are different. So it's this innate human culture of wanting to fit in, and that ties back in with evolution, wanting to be part of a tribe, higher chance of survival and that sort of shit. But in this modern day and age, especially with weightlifting, especially with tangible things, burn that fucking bridge. Burn it to the fucking ground. Because if they're fucking wrong, you do not want to associate with them. So if they're wrong and they want you to fit in, burn them fucking down.
I'm not saying don't remove yourself from certain positions or take a stand. It's like, I'm probably just not telling them to go fuck their mothers afterwards. Like it's just, there's a way to do things. That's that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Just don't give into that group. Don't give into that group think. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do it.
That I can agree with, mate. Yeah. But I think that's us again, isn't it? We're just about to wrap it.
We're going to wrap it. I've got next episode. I want to pick your brain on a couple of topics. So check in, guys, for that next episode, because it's going to be a cracker. And mate, we didn't get to the last dance this week.
No, it should always be there. I was confused that there wasn't a banner up at the bottom of the screen. That's strange, but no, it's you said you're on your fourth viewing of the entire series now. I know I'm on my third.
Yep. Fourth viewing. So I'm up to episode 8, and I've decided that the voice of God is now Scottie Pippen's.
Scottie Pippen. Yeah,
every time Scottie Pippen talks, it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a section there when they said, "Oh, what was it like when Dennis Rodman turned up? Like, how did he fit in?" And then Scottie Pippen's going, "Like a hand in a glove." I was like, oh, fuck, just smooth. It was just velvet. It was like, fuck, give me a bottle of that. I'm going to drink it.
Yeah. Like, funniest thing, I think my favorite bit on the third watch is like when they're addressing Pippen refusing to play in that final play because he didn't get the ball. And it cuts to him, and he's going, it's one of those things you regret in life, and it is. But if I had my time again, I'd probably do it. It's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. But what about the great quick thinking from Phil Jackson? So he confirmed. So the guy, I forgot the guy's name, goes to him. It was the guy who invented the triangle attack. So he goes to Phil Jackson and goes, "Scotty's out." And then Phil Jackson's like, "What?" And he goes, "Scotty's out." So then Phil Jackson goes straight to the player, goes to Scottie Pippen, "Are you in or are you out?" And then Scottie Pippen goes, "I'm out." And then Jackson goes, "Fuck it." And then points to the other guy, "Right, you're in." But he made a fucking decision. Now, I know basketball is it's a tight. Timeouts are restricted, right? But he didn't fuck around. He confirmed it, so it wasn't gossip. And then he made a decision and fucking backed it.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it. And in a team environment, you're only as good as the weakest player. So they back their squad. So he's like, "Okay, well, fuck you. You're out." Mate, I loved it. I just fucking love it. Yeah.
There's nothing better. Like again, if I had a chance, I'd Phil Jackson, just sit down and pick his brain about shit. I don't even give a fuck if he told me anything. I just happily just listen to his stories.
Yeah, that's the book, Shaggers. You've got to get it. Let's just do a random quote. See if we can pull out something nice. Is it 180? No, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it. Oh, here we go. Here's a super coach moment. Illuminati.
Check it out. The Triangle Boys.
Yeah. Let's go, boys. I think he was talking to Shaq about being the human tripod, but we'll cover that in another episode.
Yeah. Oh man, I fucking I love it. I love it. and it's changing my life. It's changing my life.
Yeah. So next episode, I'm really going to pick your brain, and for people of The Last Dance, lovers of The Last Dance, and weightlifting, next week it's going to be great. We're going to be dropping Simon's Supercoach knowledge bombs. I'm pretty keen.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's a plan.
All right. Till next time, mate.
Thanks, Shagger.
All right, take it easy, mate. Be safe.
See you, mate.
See ya.